So, good day to everyone. Today I am going to talk about new literary criticism. So, basically, new criticism is a form of analyzing a literary piece using only the text itself. It says here, text and text only approach. You use the words in the literary piece itself to arrive to the meaning. So according to new critics, or those people studying literature using this kind of literature approach, they have this motto. If a poem is good, if the book is well written, it will say everything. Basing from this statement, we can say that through close reading of a text, we can immediately get all the meaning implied by it by just analyzing the words. So I will further explain that. Using new literary criticism, we don't use any outside sources. Outside sources such as the life background of the author, when and where the piece was written, mood of the author when he or she wrote it. So, new criticism is a method that provides the reader with a formula or a way for arriving at the correct interpretation of the text using the text itself. Close reading of the words, just like what I was saying earlier, through close reading of the words or close analysis of the words and how the words was used in the literary piece, we can derive or we can know the meaning implied by it, especially if the author uses symbolism in the literary piece. For example, this Filipino literature written by Francisco Baltazar, Florante at Laura, it depicts the situation of Filipinos and how they live during the Spanish colony. By reading that piece, we can know that during the Spanish colonization, Filipinos were not treated equally. By reading the whole text, using the words in that poem, we can derive some symbolisms used to symbolize elements during that period. It is the text that matters. So, using these new criticism method, we just focus on the text only, the words itself. For example, in reading a poem, we don't go beyond what is written in that piece. The words used in the literary piece is what matters most in arriving at the real meaning or the meaning implied by the poem. Just like what I said earlier, you don't have to use outside sources such as the author's background or anything about it, but you just focus on what is in the page. Analyze the words, analyze how the symbolisms were used and the meaning they imply, and then you can immediately get the meaning or the real information that is given by the text. So, in analyzing a piece using new criticism, we have some steps. First, read the text many times. So, this process is commonly done, especially in reading poems with very deep meanings that it cannot be understood in just one reading. By reading the text many times, we can process the meanings of the words used and the symbolisms they provide. Next, associate the work's title with the text itself. By looking at the title, we can immediately get the gist of the poem. Sometimes authors use the main subject of the poem as the title. Carefully note the diction or the word choice. Sometimes words used in a literary piece does not literally convey the literal meaning, rather they imply deeper representation or symbolism. Okay. Search for images and symbols and relate them with each other. So by identifying the symbolisms used and by getting the meaning or the message implied by the symbols, we can relate them to each other and form one sensible meaning for the whole piece. Look for the elements of prosody such as rhyme, rhythm, stanzas, meter, language, and style. Sometimes the usage of words in the poem is not just used to conform with the rhyme or the rhythm, but is also used to imply a deeper meaning that is implied by the whole text. Examine the tone, the speaker or the narrator, a theme, setting, and point of view. Just like my example earlier, Florante at Laura, that was written during the time of Spanish colony in the Philippines, by reading through the text itself, we can say that it is about the conditions of Filipinos during that time, without researching any background information about Francisco Balagta's life, the Philippine history, or any information about that period. By examining the tone, the speaker, the theme, and setting of point of view. Usually, the setting in a poem uses symbolisms to convey a deeper meaning or message. Last, are there any paradoxes, ambiguities, tensions, ironies, or conflicts? Analyze the poem and look for any conflicts or tensions in it, and make sure to analyze it carefully, because sometimes conflicts in the poem convey a deeper meaning and has something to do with the whole meaning of the context. Finally, put all the clues, elements which help in developing the text in front of you. Everything that you have analyzed, or what we call the clues that you have gathered by reading or analyzing the piece, combine them together to arrive to a more sensible meaning. Reassociate them with the complexities of the whole text. The symbolisms used in the piece should be reassociated with the complexities or the conflicts in the whole text, so that you will arrive to the real and deeper meaning that is provided by the piece. Explain the text's meaning thus by resolving its tensions. So when we get to the meaning of the piece, by doing this, we can answer why it happened and why is it necessary to be in the piece. So let's look into this poem.
Bloom, I want to tell you about the sunflower I found on the sidewalk yesterday. It is wilting and curled and gorgeous and nosy. I want to age like that, never forgetting my own beauty, never forgetting how to say bloom.
The word sunflower was used to symbolize something. Now, what is that something? We can say that sunflower symbolizes a woman, because commonly a flower symbolizes feminism. And it says here, it is wilting and curled. it describes the sunflower. So we can say that the woman is old because she is wilting and curled. It means she's wrinkled, and gorgeous and knows it. So generally, the meaning implied by this poem is about aging naturally without bothering your physical appearance, but what matters most is how you keep yourself in bloom. We analyzed the poem by using only the symbolisms used and the words used. And we don't even know who wrote this. Your activity, you look for the poem, Snow Vision by Rita Reed, and write a 5-sentence analysis of that poem using new criticism. And that's all. Thank you.